The truth is that the life I was living gave me crippling anxiety, and it led me to the point I am now where I want no plans this summer, and I want full open days with not a single thing on the agenda. Being in the Army for 5 years in a very stressful bedside nursing role completely fried my nervous system, as well as the constant stimulation of tech, something playing in my head all the time. It was completely overwhelming. Something inside of me shifted, and I know that this was not the way I wanted to keep living. I wanted to give up everything at the chance to connect with who I really was deep down. I know this video may have started off a bit depressing, but the truth is, I've never been happier. I've never felt more free or more like myself. And it all started with me changing everything, leaving the Army, moving home at 27, living with my parents, and yes, canceling all summer plans and not making a single plan. Occasional dinners with my parents and their friends, going to church, and random errands I don't think count as plans in this circumstance. While I was in the Army, I was so obsessed with my identity as a soldier that I wasn't living in line with my values, if I ever even had values in the first place. I did join the Army when I was 18. And one of my core values is supporting local businesses, like this one. So I am now making it a priority to shop locally and support people in my community. Hello, so it's the next day. I'm back from the bookstore and I wanted to go through everything I got because I'm really excited about the books. So the first one is called Shady Hollow, and this I'm extremely excited about. In fact, I was so excited that I already started it and I'm on page 19, so I just started it, but it is so darling. It is a cozy murder mystery that takes place like in this kind of magical town where the people are animals, and so the main character is a reporter who's a fox, and one of the local townspeople is murdered, and she's gonna get to the bottom of like what happened. So it's just a cozy mystery, which I'm like just in the mood for. It's like a rainy, gloomy day here in Connecticut, so I'm hoping I can carve through a good amount of this. So this is Shady Hollow by Juneau Black. The next book I picked up is I Was Anastasia by Ariel Lawhon, and she wrote Frozen River, which is one of my absolute favorite reads from this year. about a midwife in Maine. I absolutely loved that book. So I was looking for something by the same author, and I asked the owner of the bookstore, and she recommended this. So it's called I Was Anastasia, and I guess it takes place in Russia in 1918, and it's about Anastasia Romanov, who was essentially the Russian princess at the time, and she was ordered to be killed. And it's just about how, what if she survived, and like that if she did survive, like who is this person who's claiming, who could be Anastasia. So yeah, she claims to be Anastasia. So this is a historical fiction, and I'm really excited about this book as well. So the third book I picked up is the new Sangum Mandana book, and she wrote The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which I'm trying to remember when I read that. I think maybe a year ago I read that. I think maybe in the fall of last year, and I absolutely loved it. Again, it goes on that same like realm of cozy fantasy books that I just love. So again, A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. I'm not sure if you need to know who the characters are in order to read this, but it was funny because when I was in the bookstore picking this up, there was an older woman there who was like looking for a book, and she was like, oh, do you have any recommendations? And I said, oh, you should try The Very Secret Society of Regular Witches. And sure enough, she like picked it out, and she went up to get checked out, and she was like, I just got a book recommendation. So that was pretty cute. And I told her like, oh, I'm getting the next one. So yeah, this is just like another warm cup of tea in your heart kind of book. So I'm really excited about this one as well. Okay, so the next one's called Here One Moment by Lianne Moriarty. She's pretty famous because she wrote like 9 Perfect Strangers and Apple Never Falls and Big Little Lies and things like that. So this book was again recommended by the bookseller. It's just really intriguing plot, and so she said it was like really worth reading because it's just like so interesting. But it's a woman on a flight from Hobart to Sydney begins predicting the age and manner of death of her fellow passengers. And so it's just kind of like this woman just predicts the death of everybody on the plane, and then some things come true, and it ends up having like implications for each character's life. So the bookseller really recommended this book, so I'm really excited to check it out. This is Here One Moment by Lianne Moriarty. Okay, and then one more book, which is The Book Club for Troublesome Women. This is by Mary Bostwick, and this is a book that takes place in the 1960s and kind of, I think, has like themes of like feminism. It says Margaret Ryan never really meant to start a book club or a feminist revolution in her buttoned-up suburb. So it's about a book club that starts in a small town in the 60s and like the lives of the women who are in the book club. So yeah, I think that this could be really fun too, and something different, something that I wouldn't have picked out myself. And right now my like whole philosophy of reading is like letting whimsy into my life and into my reading life, meaning like I'm not on social media. I'm not like getting an influx of book recommendations from TikToks and Instagram Reels. I'm not really, I mean, I go on Goodreads, don't get me wrong, but I'm not really on there as much looking at the rating and making sure it's rated like really heavily. It's just like not as interesting to me. What's more interesting to me is asking friends and family for recommendations, for asking the bookseller for recommendations, for like looking around the bookstore and seeing what captures me, reading one book from an author I love and then going down the rabbit hole of that author and like becoming transfixed with an author because I read one book and I loved it. Or like for Shady Hollow, there's like 10 of them. So that to me is like so whimsical and so magical. It's like I loved the first book and like let's see how many I can read. And just get really lost in the story and get really obsessed with the characters. And that to me is like what's exciting me right now. So not as much into the algorithm, but more into just real life. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, that's kind of what the theme of my channel is going to be, is just like how to get back in love with real life and not like living through a screen or through social media or through like what the world wants you to do, but like what do you actually want to do? What do you want to wear? How do you want to live your life? Those themes are just like so dear to me. So yeah, I hope everyone will stick around. I love doing YouTube, so please like, comment, and subscribe. It means the absolute world to me, and I'll see you in the next video. So